Hello, math lovers. The topic of today's lesson is Singapore Math. Unit 3-6, word problems about fractions, specifically word problems that involve finding a fraction of a whole, which means we will be using multiplication. First example, Melissa, so many good names. Melissa spent, where's my highlighter? Right here, we're right here. Melissa had $125. She spent 2/5 of the money and saved the rest. How much money did she save? Well, if we were to solve this problem, step 1, we would break it into steps. She had a whole thing. She saved 2 out of 5 equal parts, which means 3 out of 5 were saved. Okay, were saved. How come I cannot? There we go. And step 2, we need to find out if $125 were her total amount at first. What is 3/5 of $125? Remember, we always try to simplify before we multiply. So this means 125 times 3 over 5. And of course, before we multiply, let's simplify. 125 is divisible by 5. It is 25. And 5 divisible by 5 is 1. And the answer is 25 times 3 over 1 equals $75 she saved. She saved $75. Now, one more way to look at it is always with a bar model. I love bar models. I can make my own bar model. This is method, so it's method 3. If you want to make a bar model, we would start by making a simple line with a start and end. It's Melissa, and she has $125, right? And then what happens to her money? She spent 2 out of 5 equal parts. First, I'm going to divide this total thing into 5 equal parts, and she spent 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5. So this is the money she spent, right? And obviously then this is the money she saved. She saved the rest, which means 3/5, right? 3/5 were saved. Now, the next important question, if Melissa had $125 altogether spread among 5 units, how much is inside each unit? Each unit has $25. 25, 25, 25, 25, 25. And therefore, if we do want to find out the amount she saved, it's 25 3 times, which is the same as what we found before, $75. Those 3 units, which are her savings, and that's $25 inside each unit. That is what she saved. Let's practice more word problems. They're fairly easy. They follow different patterns. Let's spot patterns. We are on page 86. There are 96 children in the library. Of them, 5 out of 8 equal parts are girls. 5/8 are girls. Now, how many boys are there? Well, we know this is 1/8, 1/8, 1/8. This is also 1/8, 1/8, 1 out of 8. And of course, 5 of those parts, 5/8, are G for girls. Let me write it down. And therefore, the remaining part, which is of course 3/8, are B for boys. Now, if there are 96 people in the library and they're spread among 8 units, right? They're spread among 8 units. Therefore, each unit must be 12 children, 12 children, 12 children, 12 children, 12 children, and so on. And now the answer is basically right in front of our eyes. 3 units, 12 children each. They will be 36B for boys. Another way to write this down using purely language of math would be 3/8 of 96 people. In language of math would be 3/8 of 96. Remember, we simplify before we multiply. This turns into 1. This is 12. We divided, no, not 12. 96 divided by 8 is 12. I'm right. And therefore the answer is 36 boys. Next problem. Next problem. I'm going to put a line dividing my solutions so I can be organized. Next problem. David had $40. He spent 1/5 of his money on a storybook and 3/10 on a calculator. How much money did he spend together? Step 1. Let's first find out what fraction of the money he spent. So we know there was a storybook and he spent 1/5, and there was a calculator and he spent 3/10. Well, step 1. Altogether, David spent, so let's make it 2/10, make an equivalent. He spent 5/10 of his money. 5/10 is the same as a half. If he spent a half, that means 1/2 of 40 how much did he spend altogether? We need the spendings. 1/2 of 40, why did I just turn it away? 1/2 of 40, actually, we know it's $20. David spent $20 on his shopping. Problem number 3, Scott had some eggs. Notice, my friends, they don't tell you how many eggs Scott had at first, but here's the information they give you. He sold 5 out of 8 equal parts. 5 out of 8. So he had some eggs, right? I'm going to make the bar model myself. We do not know how many, but he sold 5 out of 8. Here's my 2 parts, 4 parts, 8 parts. And he sold 1 out of 8, 2 out of 8, 3 out of 8, 4 out of 8, 5 out of 8. This is the fraction 5/8 he sold, which is equal to 300 eggs. 300 eggs. E for eggs. My friends, the most important question you need to answer for yourselves is how much is inside each unit? How much is inside each unit? Well, 5 units. 5 units is $300, right? 5 of these bars is 300. Sorry, not dollars. Eggs. We're talking about eggs. Therefore, 1 unit must be 300 split into 5 parts, 60 eggs. And of course, 60 eggs, right? That's the part. 300 is what he sold. How many eggs did he have at first? Well, all units are equal. All units are equal. So that was our step 1. Step 2. Step 2. 60 eggs times 8, because we have 8 total parts, right? We see 8 parts equals 480 eggs. 480 eggs. And that is your answer, 480 eggs. Let's jump to the following page. We keep solving these word problems. Mrs. Garcia bought 6 pies for a picnic. Of the pies, 3/5 were eaten. So I'm not going to draw circles for my pies. I'm just going to draw a bar. I'm going to draw a bar. Make it all the same. And that bar is 6 pies, right? Altogether, she bought 6 pies. Of these pies, 3 out of 5 equal parts were eaten, which means 1 part, 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5. That's the part that was eaten. Therefore, the question is how many were left? Well, we know if 3/5 were eaten, that means 2/5 were left, right? Left. This is the section that was left. Now, what is 2/5 of 6? Well, it's multiplying fraction by a whole number. Not so difficult. We've practiced it all of last week. Let's continue. Not so difficult. So it becomes 12/5. And we can simplify it into mixed number 2 and 2/5 of pies, right? Plural. How many were left? 2 whole pies and 2/5 of pie. Now, the way they solved this problem, they created a single expression And they used parentheses. I love it. I love it. We broke it into 2 steps. But step 1, 1 minus 3/5 gives you the remaining fraction, which is 2/5. Step 2, multiply it 6 times, and you will get the same answer. Let me make a separation for problem number 5, and we will also solve number 6. Josh has 8 lengths of a rain gutter. Rain gutter each is 12 1/3 foot long. My friends, if you don't know, because many of us live in high-rise buildings, a rain gutter, so if this is a house, it is this pipe that runs along your house for rain to collect and come out. That's rain gutter. So Josh has 8 pieces of rain gutter, 8 lengths, and they're each 12 1/3 foot long. What is the total length? Of course, it's multiplication. However, we're multiplying a mixed number. We're multiplying a mixed number, and I would like to use distributive property. I demonstrated last week. Let's think of 12. I'm going to write it bigger. 8 times 12 1/3. Oops. 12 1/3. Now, let's think of 12 1/3 as 2 parts. Its whole part and its fraction part. For us to multiply it 8 times, we need to multiply each part 8 times. Just like that, 8 times 12 and 8 times 1/3, right? We're going to split the number into 12 1/3 and do it step by step. My friends, 12 times 8 gives us 96, and 1/3 times 8 gives you plus, of course, because we need to put this together, gives us 8/3. Gives us 8/3. All together, let's simplify. 96 plus 2 and 2/3 gives us 98 and 2/3. And the answer is 98 and 2/3 of feet. 98 and 2/3 feet. Now, the final question, let me make it. I'm on page 86. There's 6 cakes at a picnic. Of them, half are chocolate frosting. Now, isn't it so true that half, look at this, right? We have a half. 3 out of 6 are chocolate frosting. Now, 1/3, well, let's label it. Let's go. Chocolate, 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 vanilla, vanilla. 1/3 is vanilla, and the rest is strawberry, which means a whole 6 pies, right? Which means 1 whole. This is step 1. Minus 2/3 minus not 2/3. Why am I saying 2/3? It says 1/3. Minus 1/2 and minus 1/3 gives us 1/6, and that's for strawberry. Okay, this is your 1/6, and that's strawberry cakes. Now, if 2/3 of the cake with chocolate frosting, if 2/3 of the cake with chocolate frosting and 3/4 of the cakes with vanilla frosting were eaten, how many cakes were left? Well, let's compute. 2/3, they right here, they put a single expression with multiple operations in parentheses. Let's tackle it. So 2/3 of 3, so this is your pi 1, pi 2, pi 3. 2/3 of chocolate cakes were eaten. So this is how you find 2/3 of chocolate cakes. And these are my 2 vanilla cakes, right? These are my 2 vanilla cakes. And we say, well, 3/4 of all vanilla cakes. 3/4 of cakes with vanilla, right? Let me pick this up. 2/3 of the cakes with chocolate, right? So 2/3 of 3 and 3/4 of 2 cakes were eaten. Clearly, when something is eaten, we're subtracting from 6 cakes. So let's go step by step. I always encourage students to go step by step. So step 1, let's compute expression in parentheses. Simplify before you multiply. That means 2/3 of 3 is actually 2 cakes were eaten. Simplify before you multiply. 3/4 of 2 is 1 1/2 of cake was eaten. Now let's rewrite this expression. 6 minus 2 chocolate cakes were eaten minus 1 1/2 vanilla cake was eaten equals 6 minus 2 and minus 1 1/2 gives you 2 1/2 remaining cakes. 2 1/2 cakes are still remaining. I hope you found this lesson useful. This is how we solve word problems. We use drawings, we use bar models, we use simple sketches to understand fractions and their parts.